Hey moguls, it's Dr. T here, and we're here to do a multi-million dollar upgrade, which is going to upgrade you so much that if you completely apply it, internalize it, and allow it to absolutely upgrade you, you have the ability to make millions of more dollars over the course of your lifetime. Okay, so the upgrade today is all about making a shift from one way of being and one identity to another way of being and another identity. And that shift that we are making, that upgrade is about shifting from being a worker to an investor, right? A worker to an investor. Two completely different realities. The good news is these are only programs that get programmed into somebody and they can be changed. So we're going to reprogram ourselves today, transform ourselves, and make a shift from the programming that was all about all the programming that ever got you to get a job and be a worker, which is just part of a certain system of reality. It's typically what the masses are programmed to do. And then there's this elite class of people that get to be the wealthy people. So those people consider themselves investors. And it's just two different realities, two different ways of life. One is a blast, the other is pretty much sucks ass. That's a quotable. So we want to make this shift. So anywhere in your psyche, in your programming, in your reality, and anyone around you that you're taking in and absorbing all of their programming, where you've got this worker mentality going. You're a worker, you're slaving away at a job, you got to work, 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 work. Anywhere that you are a worker, I'm going to have you make an upgrade all the way to being an investor. Sounds very close. Good news is because they sound very similar, even though they're worlds apart, that's going to come on into your psyche and it's going to start to shift everything. It's going to start to shift your identity. It's going to start to shift your intentionality and it's going to start to shift your reality. So let's go into the investor reality field. In the investor reality field, everything you do in life is an investment with an ROI, right? You take a run, you invest in a run, and you get more cardiovascular health. You feel better, you get more health. You get more health. Yeah. People who are investors literally look at life that way. It's their whole paradigm, right? I'm going to invest really good food into my body and I'm going to get way, way, way more energy, way more vitality, and therefore, guess what? Way more wealthy. So they're already looking at 17 iterations down. I'm going to invest this food, this money into this food, into my body in order to get me more energy, more vitality, more wealthy. Investor. Everything is about investing and getting an ROI. Getting an ROI is a return on investment, making sure everybody's got that. The lingo is an ROI, return on that investment, meaning something happens and you get something. You invest and you get something. And remember, an investment can be doing something, but an investment can mean just reprogramming this. You're like investing in this new identity as an investor, and you're going to get a higher ROI. You're going to get a higher reality. Because the good news, everybody, is you are already investors. You just don't think of yourself that way. You go and you invest time into something. You go and you invest money into something. You do this all the time. It's just about what are you doing it with and what is your return. So, for example, I know people who constantly go shopping and they are constantly investing in their wardrobe. And for some people, that investment into that wardrobe is yielding them a high ROI and they're getting wealthier from it. But for other people, they're just investing in it and it's just more and more investing and more investing and more investing, and there's no yield coming from it. Well, and maybe the yield is they just like to shop and that's fun. Or maybe the yield is they like to look cute and that's fun. They like to look good. They like to look handsome. So there's something, but it's about you understanding as an investor what is the ROI. So you make sure that you are investing the right amount to get the highest ROI, right? And then there are people who say, instead of shopping, I am going to take this money and put it into this market or that market or this or real estate or some sort of collectible or something like that. There's so much to invest in. And there's a whole world of things to invest in. So, and then there is an ROI that's going to come. And your ROI could be immediate, and your ROI could be longer term. Your ROI could be very gradual. And for people who are investors and have the investor identity, which you're now coming into, they have investments that yield short-term, mid-term, and long-term ROIs. So they're thinking of everything that way versus I just feel like I'm bored. I feel like shopping. I go shop, pile up more clothes in my closet, and there's nothing coming from it other than a big bill on my credit card and money that didn't do anything for me over the long haul. Depending on what you want, money might have done something for you in that moment that you had fun buying things. It's really about understanding how to go from a worker to an investor, how to understand that everything is an investment, and how to understand what your ROIs are and what you want them to be over the short, mid, and long term. Because you're here to be an investor. And if you are an investor throughout your entire lifetime in everything, monitoring your ROI and being more and more of an investor in everything, then you're going to be able to be more wealthy. You're going to make millions and millions of more dollars throughout your lifetime. And you're going to be what one of the top positions in this world is, even though we think it's all these other things, the president, this and that, as somebody who's an investor, which is great because anyone can do it. It's available to everyone. It's available to you right now. So I really invite you to become an investor. And some of you will take this in, you'll say, yeah, Dr. T, you're right, I got it, and you're going to do it. Some of you will just, it doesn't sound like me, my friends went like that, whatever. Some of you, I really invite you, the ones who really want to be wealthy and play the game at the top level, I invite you to start saying that when someone says, well, what do you do? Or what are you in the world? Whatever the question is, what do you do? What's your role? What's your job? Say, I'm an investor. I invest in things and I get returns, which is happening every day. It's only knowing what your returns are. Are they the ones you want? Do you want different returns? Do you want higher returns? How do you put it the least in and get the highest return? How do you put the right amount in, more accurately, the right strategy and get the highest return? And it's the people who are the wealthiest that have this investor identity. So you're opening up to it now too, which is great. Okay. Connecting to what you invest in and starting to see that in everything, right? If I'm going to invest in watching this show, here's what I'll do that I've done before. I'm going to either invest in this show and watching this billionaire or that billionaire and learning more about that, or I'm going to watch and invest time in some other reality show where there's all kinds of drama or whatever it is. Both are an investment of your most precious asset, time, your resources, because you're investing money in it either way. And the question is, what is the return? And just knowing, does this upgrade me into a higher return? Does this upgrade me into medium return? Just getting into the game of being an investor, right? If I go have lunch with this person, what's the ROI in that? If I go have lunch with that person, what's the ROI in that? And of course, this applies to investing in markets and all of this stuff. But being an investor, people who are top level investors are not just thinking about investing with money, they're thinking about it with everything. If I have this 15-minute conversation, what's my ROI? What's that going to yield? If I have this one instead, what's that going to yield? And as a good friend of mine and I always talk about, if it's not upgrading you, it's downgrading you. And in that case, you would have a loss on your investment. So the invitation is to start looking at that, where you're investing and having losses, where you're investing and having gains. And as all great investors do, move toward the direction of where you're getting gains. Just makes good investment sense. It's a good strategy. And you want those gains. Some of them are going to be more short term, some are going to be more medium, middle term, some of them are going to be more long term. So, the invitation, everyone, is to be an investor, to come all the way into it. And the only thing you have to gain is literally everything. And I know that most things are about, well, so and so this one will think that, or that one will think that, or you'll think weird, you're weird. Get over it. It's time for you to become an investor and leave behind the strategy of being a worker, because all it will do is lead you to more of the same your entire life. But if you are an investor, you will get wealthier and wealthier with your time, the most valuable and renewable resource, more wealthy with your money. You will multiply that. It will become exponential. It's compounding interest. And everything you do can have you create an ROI if you are someone who is willing to become a top investor with your resources, your energy, your time, your money, what you're doing with it, who you're doing it with. So, may seem a little weird when you're talking about different people and stuff, but you're like, what is that yielding me? You could have a conversation with somebody and decide, oh, wow, that kind of yielded me like $100,000 of benefits. I could just feel it. And this is happening either way. Or somebody downgraded me and now I'm like, ugh, God, that was exhausting. So you're here to be an investor in what upgrades you and gives you a return. All right, the invitation has been given. I hope you RSVP. Implement this upgrade, internalize it all the way in. I know you got 5,000 other things going on, but internalizing this upgrade is worth millions and millions of dollars over the course of your lifetime. And if you have kids and you actually give this identity to them the earliest you possibly can, then you're talking generations of wealth. We're talking multi-generational wealth. As a group of investors, multi-generational investors, generation after generation after generation. And that's all it takes to switch from a lineage, generations of workers to generations of investors. And you, my friend, you moguls are the ones right here, right now that have this option. All right, so I really advise you to execute on that option. And thanks for moguling up today. It's really a powerful one. I really appreciate you tuning in, and I will see you next time. Take care.